is gamers and moviegoers. What's going on, guys? I'm the Messiah. This is Messiah Entertainment, and today we are reviewing Game of Thrones Season 6. Guys, this season, honestly, I feel like it might be my most favorite season of Game of Thrones of all time. Quickly, if you guys haven't finished the season or you guys aren't caught up, this is gonna be a spoiler review. So please click pause on this video, go catch up, and then once you're done, come back. But first off, guys, this season was absolutely freaking awesome, and I don't know what it was with last season. I really loved it, and it was my favorite show of last year, but honestly, this one, for some reason, I got a really great, happy feeling after pretty much every episode. From the beginning to the end of the season, it's pretty much been nothing but W's for the good guys. Everybody's been winning. First off, Jon Snow comes back, something that I think a lot of people were pretty much calling. I kind of called it from the second we saw him kind of die last season. I was like, that was way too quick. No way. No freaking way. Although it is Game of Thrones, so everybody had that kind of seated down in their minds, and once we kind of saw him on set, we were just kind of like, alright, he's still alive. Come on, stop it. And boy, is he alive, and he puts down the hurt in this season, but we'll get to that later. Everything right just sort of happened here, and particularly with the Starks. Honestly, after the Red Wedding, I kind of had this feeling like the Starks were dead. Jon Snow didn't really consider himself a Stark, and he's he's a servant of the Night's Watch, and Sansa, she was so far gone with either the Lannisters or the Boltons. I was just like, I'll be happy if just one Stark survives. And it seemed like at the time of the Red Wedding, all the Starks were children, so pretty much the house had fallen. Everything perfectly worked together this season. It started off, first episode, it seemed a little grim because of Jon Snow's death, but once he comes back, then Sansa comes to the wall. Her and Jon reunite. They have to face it off against the Boltons. And oh my god, the battle of the freaking bastards. Tell me that wasn't the most intense television episode like ever. Honestly, here's what happened. I watch Game of Thrones on like HBO Go, so I could watch it pretty much whenever I want. So I said, the night it came on, I was like, you know what, I'm kind of tired. Maybe I'll just leave, Game of Thrones on in the background. I'm trying to drift off, and I'll rewatch it again the next day. I couldn't sleep all freaking night because of how happy I was after watching that freaking episode. I tell you, like 4 o'clock into the freaking morning, I'm just sitting in my bed looking like, I got him. That episode was bananas. Honestly, the entire battle, I was sitting there saying, oh no. Oh no, they brought Jon Snow back just to kill him all. Oh my god, he's about to get trampled by wildlings. This is it. That is so Game of Thrones, to kill off one of your favorite characters in such a useless, meaningless way. It's so Game of Thrones. But then, boy, do they lay down the hurt. I was turned up. Honestly, nothing feels better than when the Bolton's flag drops down and then you see the Stark flag drop and we get rid of the biggest jerk in Game of Thrones. Listen, Joffrey was a pain, alright? Even Tywin Lannister was a pain. There was a lot of pains in this show, but nobody, I think it's hard to contest Ramsay Bolton. Ramsay Bolton was just a cruel and sadistic piece of trash. So to finally see him kick the bucket, and the way they did it with the hounds just chewing his face off, and then Sansa just staring there watching him and telling him that you're never gonna be remembered. Your name's gonna disappear, your house is gonna disappear, every memory of you is going to disappear. It's a conflict they've been building up for a long time, and to watch Jon Snow deliver those punches down onto Ramsay's face, it's great to watch. And the season finale, everybody has pledged allegiance to the Starks again, and now they are a house. They are a real legitimate house, and Jon Snow is now the king in the north. Yo! Everybody's pledging allegiance to Jon Snow. Well, not everybody, but, Littlefinger, I've never trusted the little piece of trash, He's done good things, well, not good things, but he's done things that I've been happy about, but honestly, nothing's ever gonna get over the fact that you betrayed Ned Stark in season 1. Honestly, I still can't wait until you die. Speaking of dying, damn, the Lannisters took an L this season. They've been dealing with those religious freaks the entire way of this season, and it's just been a mess. After last season with what Cersei had to do walking through the streets like that, it was like, you knew she was gonna come back with a vengeance. And you never saw it for the entire season. Every episode, all 9 episodes, you see her do nothing but pretty much take the abuse. They try to do certain things, but then the king kind of allies himself with the head of the religious group, and it's just like, what, Cersei, what are you doing? Cersei, you are the most ruthless one that we've seen on this show. One of the most ruthless anyway. What are you doing? And then on season 10, the season finale, everything comes to a head and you're just like, oh, Cersei, that was a bit far. Now, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think Cersei may have been the first one to organize a terrorist bombing in Westeros. She gets everybody in that room, some regular civilians, pretty much all the members of that religious group, including the main guy that's been causing her the most grief. Lady Marjorie was in the building, and she just blows everything up. She absolutely kills everyone. And then the most innocent one in all this is King Tommen, because honestly, throughout this entire season, he's been a purely innocent, partly naive young boy who's been thrust into this position of king. And it's kind of sad when he kind of stares out, and you could just imagine what's going through his head. The woman that he honestly kind of feels like he might have fell in love with, despite the fact that she was probably just using him for power, is dead. She just got blown up, and undoubtedly his mother is to blame. There is no doubt in his mind his mother is to blame for this terrorist bombing. There's really no one in there that he can honestly really trust anymore. So he kind of just takes off his crown and he jumps right out the window. I was just like, whoa, what? I had to rewind it like once, and I was like, oh, damn, man. Cersei, I honestly feel like, killed her own child. In the way she kind of looked at him, it was almost more like another casualty of war. But, you know, it was like, it was an action-packed episode. And while I do feel sorry for King Tommen, damn, they just took a major L in this one. I mean, the people can't be down with this. The religious group at least had a lot of support from the people. And the fact that they got blown up from it's clearly had to be from Cersei or, you know, the Lannisters or the king and the higher ups, the elites. It's so obvious. It's gonna cause problems for them later in the future. And even Jaime was looking at her at the end when she was being crowned pretty much queen. You know, he was looking at her like, Cersei, you've gone a bit too far. That was a bit messed up. Our own son had to kill himself because of how far and deranged you pushed. So in other words, things look great in the north, things are going haywire in the south. Meanwhile, over in Essos, Daenerys is getting ready. She has been plagued by these slave masters, just annoying her the entire season. And finally, you know, the past few episodes, they finally just said, we're gonna attack you. Tyrion started making bad deals, like he was gonna reinstall slavery for a short amount of time, or 7 years, whichever one preferred. And, you know, everybody wasn't down with it. There was a lot of chaos and turmoil, but then Daenerys rides back on her dragons, and she brought the Dothraki back with her, so they're running and storming everything, and she starts laying waste to the masters. She takes all their ships, and Theon and his sister, yeah, he came back to the Ironborn, and, you know, his sister's trying to become queen. They're trying to escape from the uncle, and that whole thing seems like it's just gonna factor into how Daenerys is finally gonna reach Westeros next season. The last shot, really, of her, and is her riding off into the sunset, riding off to pretty much help Theon and his sister get the Ironborn throne back. And I'm just like, yo, she's finally going to do this. Every season she says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to take Westeros. You know, last season, what was it? I'm going to break the wheel. And I was just like, Daenerys, you can't even handle Meereen. Can you really handle taking over Westeros? Seems like she's getting here a lot sooner than we thought, so I can't wait for this. And then you have Bran doing his mind thing, and I thought it was really cool how they started off the season doing the going back in time and, you know, watching Ned Stark doing that one fight. I wish they were doing that a lot more throughout the season. You know, the stuff with, you know, him seeing the White Walkers, that was fun too, but I just would have liked to have seen a lot more of Ned Stark, but it totally makes sense why they spaced it out like that, because on the last episode, we pretty much get a confirmation as to who Jon Snow's parents are. Pretty much, Jon Snow is not Ned Stark's son. He's actually Ned Stark's nephew, and Jon Snow is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen, who I think is Daenerys' brother, like older brother. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on that. And Lyanna Stark, who is Ned Stark's sister. So he has Stark blood in him, but he's also a Targaryen. Which is interesting because I don't know what kind of impact that's gonna have on the show, and pretty much the only one who knows this secret is Bran right now. Bran is all the way up in the north dealing with the White Walkers and trying to escape from that. So I wonder if that's gonna play somehow into the rest of the show. Is he going to eventually come back and tell Jon who his parents are? Is that gonna play a role into how Jon and Daenerys relate to one another? Because wouldn't that, I guess, make Jon Snow Daenerys' nephew and her his aunt? I don't know. Maybe I'm messing up the genealogy and stuff, but I think, yeah, that's how it works. There's also this whole prophecy about, you know, the prince that was promised, or Azor Ahai, the guy who's supposed to stop the White Walkers, and, you know, we're pretty much putting our money on Jon Snow being that guy. And Arya Stark is going in too. Last season, she got her eyes taken away, so we thought, oh my god, she's blind from now on. And then we had the whole thing with her trying to join this cult, and, you know, I wasn't really feeling it. I liked her on a mission, you know, trying to bring vengeance to the people who hurt her family. And finally, she breaks off from that crew. Finally, I couldn't wait until she, you know, got the knowledge to fight and do all those cool things, but, you know, eventually broke off and started doing her own thing. Because at the end of the freaking season, she freaking kills the Freys. Well, not the Freys, Walder Frey. And he was the one who was at the Red Wedding when Robb died. He was honestly sitting there practically laughing. So, honestly, it felt well deserved. And the line that she delivers, like, the last thing you're gonna see is a Stark standing there laughing at you as you pretty much choke on your own blood. I felt satisfaction. You know, I don't think I usually review TV shows, but, you know, I might as well start today. Overall, I'd have to give this TV show season specifically a 10 out of 10.
Flawless victory.
Guys, I loved every episode of it, and it sucks that it's only 10 freaking episodes. We need more Game of Thrones, man. Best television show on air by far. If you are not on Game of Thrones, you are missing out, buddy. And to think it's a whole nother year until we get another dosage of it. I just can't wait. There's so many things set up to go crazy in next season. Daenerys is coming to Westeros. Jon Snow is now the king of the North, you know, and Littlefinger's. All meanwhile, the White Walkers are still on their way, so there's a lot of conflicts coming to a head, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next in season 7 of Game of Thrones. Can't wait. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure you guys got your own. Let me know in the comment section down below. What did you guys think of this season of Game of Thrones? Did you love it or did you love it? As always, you guys can follow me on Vine, Twitter, MoviePilot, and Twitch. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. I'm the Messiah. This is Messiah Entertainment. Peace.